Hey guys, we're back with the BMW iX3, only this time we're doing something different. The car was unveiled a few months ago, and as always, the internet had a lot of things to say. So today, we're gonna do something very, very different. I usually have Oliver explain the car and all of that, but this time I'm gonna ask you, Oliver, what do you think are the top 5 things that people complained about the car? And we can go in any order from the worst one to the best one.
Yeah.
So which one do you think was the number one thing that people complain about?
It's probably easy to guess. It's the most.
Gonna hide
I
it?
would say it's the most appreciated, iconic element at BMWs. It's the Kidney Grille.
Kidney
right?
Grille.
Yeah.
So what do you think that people said about this one?
You know-
Beaver teeth a little bit, that.
Too narrow, maybe too
Okay.
vertical,
Okay.
too small.
Okay.
But you have the opposite if the kidneys are bigger.
Okay.
right?
So today is the chance really to kind of explain some of this. It's fun and
Yeah.
all of that, but I really want you to point out what people so complain about the car and explain the philosophy behind it, because there is always a philosophy when
Sure.
it comes to design. It's not done randomly, and people
No.
always think that you do things just because you want to, but there is always a story behind it.
Yeah, so first of all, I think what's important for you to know is that since we're talking about Neue Klasse, it was important to kind of get the same or a similar setup as we had it in the 1960s in 61, where we had this kind of horizontal emphasis. The kidneys have been smaller, but we had this kind of 4-eye iconic round headlights. So what was important? We said, okay, let's come closer to the original one. Let's appreciate the past. By the way, you see it in the bonnet as well. It's kind of it reminds
Oh,
you
yeah,
of,
the ridge is
of
right
the
there.
bonnet of,
Yeah.
of the BMW 1800. What's always important for us is to kind of get this circle close, right? We have this iconic glow. We said that's the most important part.
Okay.
In some cars in the past, we had the radar in the center,
Okay.
which led into the fact that we had to kind of interrupt the iconic glow. That's what we said we don't want to have anymore.
So you had that weird squarish thing in the middle.
That's what you said.
That's what I said. that was a nice way of putting it. Okay.
But what we achieved, actually, you see, okay, there's the camera. It's an important position for the, let's say, the
Driver
three-
assistant
yes,
features and
and for the top view and interior.
Sure.
The radar, we were able, together with the engineers, to get it out of the center. So
Oh, I
it's
see, gotcha.
hidden under that surface,
so it's right there. Okay.
seamlessly integrated,
Yeah.
and that was important. So that gave us literally the space between the headlights, the radar, and then the kidneys.
Okay. So
But the good thing is that,
Yeah.
let's say, from a proportional perspective, we came closer to that what we had in the past.
So you wanted to pay homage in some ways, basically,
Yes.
to the past with this one.
Yes.
And of course, I guess there are multiple interpretations that you can do, but once you have this package, I guess that's one of the explanations. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. What do you think
That's
would
good.
be the number 2 complaint?
Exterior.
Exterior.
Well, it's probably not the waistline finisher.
No, because
Even though
nobody
you
sees
didn't know.
that. I didn't know that, but nobody sees it. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's cool to you because you worked on it, but we don't see it.
Right.
You know.
Maybe then the door handles.
The door handles. You're
Yeah.
absolutely correct. So a lot of people, I can give you some context. A lot of people say the retractable, they might froze. I might not be able to use it in the winter. It's a little bit a 2-step process because now it opens. I have to pull it versus one. So let me see if I can do that. Here we go. So once again, why?
When you retract it, I think what was important, the idea behind Neue Klasse was to really reduce, let's say, the amount of components, to reduce any kind of visual disturbance.
Yeah.
And therefore we decided to go with the retractable kind of door handles, so that the surfaces appear as clean as possible.
But are there any benefits to, let's say, aerodynamics, or they're just minimal, like in the end?
Probably minimal, since they are closed, and we have flush door handles in other cars as well, with a little hole to grab into. But it's more like, for us, it's this kind of embracing gesture as well. So when you approach the car, they are coming. So you don't necessarily have this 2-step.
Sure.
We don't have it now, since we don't have the key.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have
You
the
approach.
idea, they
It
are
will
kind
pop
of
out.
opening up. There is this kind of illumination around it. It's kind of, let's say, as I mentioned, a welcoming gesture.
How would you address the other worry that people have that in the wintertime,
Yeah.
ice building up on them, they might not be
Yeah.
able to? How do you fix that problem if there is one?
Well, I'm not the engineer, but what I experienced since we are testing those cars, and you know it in northern Sweden,
In
like
Arjeplog.
in the deep winter, and they were tested 2 years constantly. That's something where BMW is really keen on having no failure there. So here I'm totally confident that they will pop out. Anyhow.
Okay, gotcha. All right. What do you
So
think
the
is
customers shouldn't be afraid of that.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, I will do my own testing.
Yeah.
No
I know
personal
that you will
offense.
do it.
I'm going to find the coldest day in Chicago, minus 40
Okay, yes.
Celsius. And I'm going to go pour some water on it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to call if something doesn't.
In the night.
Of course.
I got it.
There is a time difference too.
Right.
Okay. So what do you think is the next thing that people
Well,
talk about?
exterior.
Exterior, interior.
Everything is new, so it's always
Yeah.
about getting used to a different proportion, used
Sure.
to surfaces, foam language. Probably the taillights.
Taillights.
Probably.
I feel like some people say that maybe you moved away a little bit too much from the iconic L-shaped taillights and all of that. But why this interpretation? Like elongated, split in the middle with that island there.
First of all, I think you're still able to recognize the L, right?
Okay.
With this triangle and then this connection.
Sure.
Really sharp, really thin, really crisp. The taillights itself, they are higher, so it's a combination of this kind of precision and then this kind of dynamic diagonal. When you're following the shoulder, coming from that curvature, it's the
just-
natural kind of diagonal
inclination.
line that is coming. Inclination. That's
Gotcha.
coming. Yeah.
But
sure.
you always have this connection between front and back. Does this tie into the headlights somehow?
Yeah, the horizontal emphasis, the having a space for the light features, for the, let's say, for the graphics overall, that's something that is important. And you're going to find the valley, the first time,
That's a
not
nice
just in
term,
the
yeah.
front,
Okay,
but
yeah.
as well in the rear. Here it's coming from the rear spoiler, kind of is connected
down.
with that
Sure.
surface. Oh, and we talked about that, right? That's the stage for the new BMW logo. And this is kind of the, let's say, the reference to the front,
Gotcha.
which works from our perspective pretty well. And we were putting the number plates down in order to gain more width for the taillights. And that is
Interesting.
always kind of helping us to increase the, let's say, the visual width of the rear of the car.
And I'm assuming it would have been weird to do a typical L shape like that, and that it wouldn't fit a more digital front end, basically. Also, right? I mean, it's always a symmetry.
It's about cleanness and having this kind of, how you say, digital feeling in the surfaces. When you compare it with other taillights, looking into, let's say, this precision, not just from, let's say, far away, but coming even closer, you see, okay, there's, let's say, a high level of execution in it.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Next
let's
one.
see.
Next one. Maybe we move inside. Maybe because let's.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah,
inside?
let's have a look. I'll let you. No. This is you, please.
Yeah,
No. This is. I am just gonna go on that side. Since you make that in that interior, or your team did, it's gonna be you're in the hot seat.
Oh yeah.
That is called a hot seat.
Feels like that. Yes.
So what do you think? You can only pick two. There are more than two. I can promise you, but you can only pick two.
I want to pick three. It's probably the steering wheel.
And which part of the steering wheel do you think people complain about?
And the process, let's say, the ideation process was interesting. We started with panoramic vision.
Okay.
We said, okay, that's the focus point, and we combined it together with this kind of tilted screen.
Yeah.
So we knew that we don't need to have a instrument cluster anymore. And from the other perspective, the colleagues were kind of defining the perfect ergonomics, right?
Okay.
In terms of how does it feel steering.
Okay.
So from an aesthetic perspective, we took the chance to kind of emphasize that connection to the road, and that's what you see here with this angle. So everything is tilted towards the road.
So
that
that's
was the reason behind.
So that's the main complaint, really. It's the spokes at 6 and 12 o'clock.
It's unusual.
It is unusual, absolutely. So the question is, you know, will people embrace newness or they will want to stay true to the classic steering wheel?
Well, we knew that this might be not the perfect fit for everyone. And due to that fact, we said, okay, let's have a classic steering wheel, let's say with the spokes more horizontal.
Yeah, which are like more like 4 and
I think it's
8
4
o'clock.
spokes here. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
You have it in your, you already have it, right?
Yeah,
You saw it.
I saw it already. Yeah.
And then we do have both.
Okay,
right?
so you have
And
options.
This steering wheel, you see, it's in digital white, which
Okay.
fits way better into that kind of environment. If you want to have it more sporty, you
Sure.
might choose a different interior color, like the castanea or the black, and then you do have a perfect fit in terms of steering. So you have both. You don't need to complain about it if you don't like it. You just choose the other one.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that people, you know, said about the steering wheel affect, aside from the fact that it looks a little bit weird with that, and I get it because I drove a prototype with this one hidden, and at some point I couldn't tell what I was doing, you know. But that's not the case right now.
Yeah.
It's also the fact that maybe when you do a full lock and you got to turn your hand, maybe it's a little bit more trickier to do that.
Yeah.
The
I
question.
didn't try it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and
you have to drive that. It's not a car that you drive like on the track usually, so maybe that's not a use case that you see. I did it because we had to test the car that way. But we will have to see what happens in the future if it comes to like a smaller car then, which is meant to be more for the track. So we'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah.
Then you can answer that question for that car, basically what people don't like. Okay, so we have one more. So we did 4, right? So kidney, door handles, taillights, steering, and we're gonna do one more. I'm gonna be gentle today.
Well, something that might have been mentioned as well is the fact that we don't have, let's say, the iDrive controller anymore.
I like how you said might have been mentioned. Might have been mentioned.
Always correct.
Politically correct with that.
Right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the iDrive, I can lead you a little bit with this, but the iDrive controller, people feel like, and I've said it in a previous video also, that you guys are so good at perfecting something, and when it's really perfect, you take it away. Like that thing you finally, like the iDrive controller was finally perfect. So let me ask you this, you know, maybe it's not necessarily a design, you know, decision, but why did you take it away, and how would you compensate for the lack of an iDrive controller?
So, you know, if something's changing, there's always reasons behind.
Yeah.
In that case, and you're starting already, right? So you're touching in a natural way.
Yeah.
The display is way bigger than before. It's way closer to you. That's, by the way, the reason why we have this angle.
Yeah.
In order for you to be able to touch easily. Right?
So closer, the ergonomics are a little bit easier.
Ergonomics is perfect.
And
so
you're absolutely
don't
right,
need
because
to-
when I was there on some of the screens, I will have to reach out to this corner
Right.
that was right here, and I'm tall and long hands, I think.
Yeah.
And it was not easy. Yeah.
Yeah, so here it's really important that you kind of staying in touch.
Yeah.
The
You're
shoulder
not-
and the seat
you're not
needs to be
doing
touched.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you come in closer. So
Sure.
that's
Okay.
important.
Got it.
Then and you said it already. It's not necessarily kind of design, but it's more like the architecture behind. The architecture behind is visually driven, not necessarily list driven. The iDrive controller was perfect for the fact that you're going through a list.
Like a rotary control.
Right here, you're talking about widgets, right? It's closer to that what you have in your pocket,
Yeah.
the mobile devices.
Mobile device, yeah.
And you're able to gain way more depth if you need it as a customer, rather than having just scrolling through a list.
Yeah. So now to brag about myself, because I got to do that, you know, sometimes since I study a lot of UI UX in my university days, I do have to agree with this one. I don't like the fact that it's gone, but in this format, it makes sense, because I tried to explain to someone actually one day that if you had a rotary control, it would be impossible to navigate through that type of layer
Exactly.
controls,
Yeah.
then go down here,
Right.
and then also go back there. So you would do a lot of movement with that, which is
It's
in
true.
the end, it's more
It's
complicated.
just one dimension. Here you
Exactly.
can easily jump,
Yeah.
you know, you can
Yeah.
swipe and easily jump into
And
the
also
radio
the
if you
fact
want
that
to.
you can go to this versus,
Right.
let me just imagine the iDrive controller having to rotate to this, and then you have to go down one
Right.
level, then you got to scroll back up, and then you got to go to that. So I get it'll be more
Exactly.
complicated,
Yeah.
but it's also fair to say that a lot of people didn't have a chance really to experience the new iDrive X.
I think that's something you need then to
Yeah.
experience while driving it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of time. Normally it takes about at least for me, I take a couple of hours to get familiar with it.
Yeah.
And I was able to drive it once, and it happened really really quick that I used it as it was mine.
Yeah.
So that works out pretty well.
Yes, I mean it's also such an emotional thing, the iDrive thing, that I feel like every time you take away an emotional thing or something that people got used to, there will always be complaints. Some might be right, some might be wrong, but in this case, I don't like to say it, but I have to agree that it makes sense that it's not in this one. Maybe in the X1, X2, I'm gonna say, maybe should have been there, but that's a different story. This is iDrive X, we're talking about
Yes.
this one. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. I said only 5. I'm not going to
Yes,
try to.
thank you very much.
I was trying to go for one more, but we're going to leave it at that. So, Oliver, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I guess
a pleasure talking
yeah,
to
no,
you.
same to you. Thank you
Even
for.
though it's
thank you
tough
for making this.
talking to you,
No, but this is fun, because
fun.
you can acknowledge at least what people say, and it's and I think as a company, as a design team, also it's good to acknowledge that maybe you're not perfect in some things, but you can at least explain why you did it, and it also gives you the chance maybe to fix some things like in the future if you feel like the feedback
you always should be open to improve. Yeah. That's important.
And I think a lot of people don't think that BMW, you guys do research, you do studies, you do customer research, you have companies that work for you that do that. And a lot of times they think that you just change things because you feel like it, not because it's based on research.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So it's everything we're taking really seriously. Yeah. Every little change needs to be tested and be proven in terms of usability.
Yeah. And as far as design, the last point, really, I'm going to mention this anecdote that I received from Hussein Alatar, great guy, great designer. Yeah. But I remember this, I'll never forget, it was maybe like 10 years ago when he told me that a lot of times when you do a design, when you do like a new design, the design could be, the design could be good and objective, but the styling might be subjective. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? And he said, from an engineering, from design perspective, the front end might be the best. Maybe the styling is it's subjective, but the design is objective. And I think it's always nice to emphasize that a design is done correctly, but that doesn't mean that everybody will love it because of the styling.
Yeah, it's always the fact. And it depends, and there's no difference. Yeah. You could go up or down with the direction, and we're going to find the ones that like it and the ones that don't like.
I mean, it's like fashion. I mean, like in the end, it could be very subjective.
Everything that's new, that's another important thing. You need to be, there's the exposure, the times of exposure are important in order to at least understand the design. By the time it hopefully will happen, then that you like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really that's a good point, because I remember when I first saw the 5 GT, there was a designer that told me that we're gonna fall in love with a car from inside out, and I told him it wasn't you, but I told the designer, I said, if you want to fall in love with the car from inside out, you need to get into the car first, and if you don't like it from the outside, you might not do it. And that was a funny story back then. Too bad I couldn't film it because it was a funny response. But anyway, we're gonna cut this short. We're gonna do some other stuff next year. New things coming out. We're going to talk about some other emotional BMW products. As always, really thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Pleasure.
Take care. Pleasure.
But it was